Bonjour class. Today we're going to learn about l'imparfait. But before we get started, you're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen to write some things down during the presentation. So, va chercher un stylo, un crayon et une feuille de papier. Today we have a special guest with us, Claudette, and she's going to tell us about her life. So come, let's meet Claudette.
Bonjour classe, je m'appelle Claudette. Je suis née à Paris le 4 juillet 1916. J'ai 103 ans. Je vais vous raconter ma vie. Me voilà à l'âge de 4 ans. J'avais les cheveux blonds et j'adorais mon petit lapin. Je mangeais beaucoup de bonbons. Et je jouais au tennis. Tous les dimanches, mes parents et moi, nous allions au jardin de Tuileries devant le Louvre. Ma mère et moi nous promenions au bord du petit lac. Alors que mon père restait sur un banc avec les pigeons. Les pigeons l'aimaient bien parce qu'il leur donnait à manger. J'aimais jouer sur la balançoire. J'adorais mon grand-père. Il me lisait souvent des histoires. Et me voilà à l'âge de 20 ans. Je voyageais beaucoup quand j'étais jeune. J'avais beaucoup d'énergie et je faisais de la gymnastique tous les jours. Je jouais au tennis tous les week-ends. Un jour, j'ai rencontré Pierre au bord de Montmartre. Oh, comme il était beau! Un an plus tard, le 28 mai 1943, nous nous sommes mariés au Sacré-Cœur. Nous avons eu des jumeaux. Ils étaient adorables. Ils adoraient aller au cinéma quand ils étaient petits. Donc, nous visitions souvent les ciné des Champs-Élysées. Et 4 ans plus tard, notre troisième enfant est né. Nous étions une famille heureuse. Mais maintenant, je suis vieille. Mes enfants sont adultes. Et Pierre et moi, nous avons divorcé l'année dernière. Ok. Comment est-ce qu'on fait la conjugation de l'imparfait? So now I'd like you to make your prediction. What did you learn about the imparfait from Claudette? She used it quite often when she was explaining to you about what her life used to be like. Let's see if your prediction is true. Okay, so there are always two parts to the verb. When we're conjugating verb, there's a stem and the endings. So what stem are we going to use for the imparfait? We take the stem from the new part of the present tense,
and we remove the O and S. So when we have an ER verb, like regarder, we know that it's nous regardons. We take off the O and S, and our stem is regarde. For our IR verbs, like finir, we know from looking at IR verbs that we need finissant because our ending is ISSONS. So when you take off the O and S, we're left with finisse. For vendre, RE verbs, if they work sort of like ER verbs in the new form, and they become nous vendons, we take off the O and S, and it becomes vendre. Okay. We do have some irregular verbs, like avoir, but we know that avoir is nous avons. So if I take off the O and S, my stem will be have. Aller is another irregular verb, but we know that the new form is nous allons. So I take off the O and S, and my stem is al. Faire, another irregular verb, we know that it becomes nous faisons. So I take off the O and S, and my stem is fait. Finir, we've already looked at. We know that IR verbs become finissant, so my stem becomes finisse. Attendre, like all RE verbs, becomes nous attendons. I take off the O and S, and my stem is attend. Boire, we know that boire becomes nous buvons, so my stem is bout. Manger, we have to be careful with these GERs because we know from French 1 that when we have the new form, we have to make it into nous mangeons with the E to make the G soft, but I keep the E in my stem, so my stem is mange with the E. And other verbs like manger, voyager, nager, all follow that same rule. Now that I have my stem, all I need to do is add my endings. So if you were paying attention during Claudette's talk, you're going to recognize the endings that we use for the imparfait. So for je, my ending is AIS. So it becomes je regardais. For tu, we use the same ending, AIS, so it becomes tu regardais. And for il, elle, on, it becomes AIT, but pronounced the same way, so il regardait. The new form is a little bit different. It becomes nous regardions, because my ending is EONS. And for vous, becomes vous regardiez, EEZ. And the il and elle plural form becomes il and elle regardez, but spelled AIENT. So my je, tu, il, elle, and il and elle plural forms all sound the same. Je regardais, tu regardais, il regardait, elle regardait, and il regardait, and elle regardait. So even though they're spelled differently, they all have the same sound. One nice thing about the imparfait is that there's only one irregular verb. And that, I think you can guess, is être. Why is être the only one that's irregular? Well, its new form is nous sommes. Doesn't really work in this form. So, our stem is, and if you were paying attention to Claudette, she told you that the stem for être is e, accent aigu, te. But the easy thing is that we add the same endings. So it becomes j'étais.
tu étais, il, elle, on était, nous étions, vous étiez, and il and elles étaient. Okay, so one of the hardest things about the imperfect tense, because it's very easy to conjugate and you won't have too much difficulty learning to conjugate it, but what is difficult is using it. And we can see from Claudette that how she used it was to express what used to happen in her life. She explained what her life used to be like when she was young. So we use it when we're describing events that happened on a regular basis in the past, or something that happened during a long or indeterminate period of time in the past, or for interrupted actions in the past. And we're going to spend most of our rest of the time of the year learning how to use the imperfect tense, and specifically how we're using it to tell some stories and to produce narration to something. Okay, so here's a little small exercise, and there are 5 sentences that all start with quand j'avais 6 ans, so when you were 6 years old. And what I'd like you to do is write down your answers for these 5 statements. And on another part of the assignment, I'm going to ask you to put in the answers. And you're going to see if you're correct, if you conjugated the form correctly. Qu'est-ce que tu faisais quand tu avais 6 ans? The other part of our exercise today is to answer this question. I'm going to ask you some questions about when you were 6 years old. Qu'est-ce que tu faisais quand tu avais 6 ans? And then you're going to remember what your life was like when you were 6 years old. So I look forward to hearing about you when you were 6 years old, and continue on with the rest of the lesson. Bonne chance!